What's up? In this video, we're going to be talking about the sliders which sit at the bottom of the home screen. If you don't want to use these, you can just toggle them off. I like to typically keep them on, and if you'd like to isolate them, just option click the icon and it's going to isolate that view. So we'll go back to the standard view of just all the panels being open, and we'll jump in and talk about the sliders. So let's start by setting up a quick example. I'll just add a shape layer to the scene, a nice basic square. And so we have a nice visual example. We'll work with the position and rotation properties, set some quick little keyframes, go back in time, drag this over to the left and press W on the keyboard for the rotation tool. Give this a little spin and we're going to have a nice linear set of keyframes that just is going to look kind of amateur. There's definitely a time and a place for linear keys, but if you want to make your projects just look a little bit more polished, you're probably going to be working with easing, as I'm sure many of you know. So the typical way to work with keyframes is to right click and you have these context menus for easy ease in, easy ease out, keyframe velocity, and keyframe interpolation. To save time, these sliders can handle a lot of that for you without diving into these context menus. So if we go ahead and just have any of the keyframes selected, you can drag your sliders and actually just change your easing with just basically one click and one drag. So it's really handy just to quickly change your easing on your selected keyframes. So we already have a little bit more of a polish added to that linear keyframes. So the top slider is going to affect your ease out. So the influence of the keyframes leaving whatever the values were. And then you can also change the easy ease, which is going to be both the influence in and influence out. And then the bottom slider is going to change your ease in to the value. So kind of how you arrive to the new values. Additionally, all of these sliders have a secondary function, which are related to the icons to the left. So you can just click the icons to change it to an auto Bezier keyframe. You can change it just to an ease out keyframe. You can change it to a linear keyframe. You can change it to an easy ease keyframe. And you can change the interpolation to a hold keyframe, or you can change it to an ease in keyframe. All of these are just a simple little click, which saves you the time of having to right click the keyframes, go down to keyframe interpolation, and change your temporal interpolations here. So I like to work with these buttons. It just makes it really quick and easy to change your keyframes. So additionally, the zeros on these sliders can set the keyframes to these kind of interpolations as well. So if you dragged your top slider to the far left, it's going to set the keyframes to auto Bezier. If you drag your middle slider to the far left, it's going to set it to a linear keyframe. And if you drag the bottom slider down to the far left, it's going to set the keyframes to a hold keyframe if you want to save even more time instead of clicking these buttons. Anytime you change the sliders, you'll also get a preview in your little graph window. However, we're going to be talking about this in another video. If you'd like to edit the values into a specific value, you can just click the numbers and you'll get a little edit window, and you can enter any value you want and press enter, and it's going to apply that easing to any of the selected keyframes. The sliders work over multiple layers and multiple keyframes, so any of the properties that might have keyframes you want to change, go ahead and use your sliders, and you can easily change all of the keyframes, interpolations, and influences at once in a nice, easy way. So in a nutshell, these are the sliders. I'm sure many of you are familiar with them, and yeah, we have some more improvements coming soon.